All right, going live in three, two, one. Well, this is the Working Title Experience. We're at episode number 26, and I have a special guest on this afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you may be. That's Lórien. Lórien Phoenix, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
Oh, it's
How are
great.
you?
I'm doing okay, I guess. Where are I guess how are things going where you are? I guess there's a question I always like to ask when we start off with a new person. Is the weather pretty good for you where you are? Are things working out for you?
I actually legit had to look outside just to see what the weather was doing because I don't really go out during the day much, and it's still afternoon here. It's actually sunny out. It looks really nice. It looks like it would be nice to go swimming. My day's been pretty chill. Mostly just hang out all day and make art and stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
Well,
been a good day.
cool. Well, why don't you tell my audience who you are? Because I'm not sure if anyone has ever seen you. They may. I'm not sure. But give
Yes.
everyone a description of what you are and what you like to do.
Hi, I am Lórien Phoenix. I am a visual artist, tattoo artist, crafter. I make dolls and all kinds of knickknacks and stuff. I also sing and write music and lyrics for a couple of different music projects. More are in the works, but we'll get to that. I just love creating all around, but I don't know, I have a very strong heart for like human rights, and things like that. So like I really care about people being treated well by other people, and that goes for everybody. So that you can find those themes a lot sometimes in my work, as well as themes of the occult, because I really love to study different religions and just find things I like from all of them and see the similarities and the differences and comparisons. I find it very fascinating. So you can also see that in my art a lot and in my music. I make these horns actually. So sometimes I'm dressed like a devil, sometimes I'm dressed like an angel, fairy, whatever. Like if I come back, I hope I come back. I'll be probably in a lot of different things. Put in requests. I love ideas. So yeah, I think that's a good summary so far.
That's good. Let me ask you, what are you, have you, now you talked about certain things before we went live here. Have you done anything what people would notice, remember you from? Anything in particular? I'm just kind of curious. Anything online that you've done or?
I mean, yeah, we're gonna just go ahead and talk about all that. Um, the only thing online that I would really probably that I've had like the biggest fan base for was I ended up working with a studio doing some cam work and stuff. So that was fun, but like it wasn't exactly permanent, not something that like I want to do forever.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, my bands. One of my videos have like 15,000 views on YouTube. It's not a ton, but it's enough, and it makes me happy just to know that people like it. And we have a small following on SoundCloud. I mean, some of my friends are like, "How do you even have that following?" I'm like, "Dude, that's nothing." Like, it's cool. So I mean, if you listen to Witch House music, you might have heard of my band Luco. But otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty elusive, I guess.
Which house music? Is that a format? I'm
It's a
sorry.
genre.
A genre. Oh, okay. Okay.
Genre.
So you pardon my ignorance on that one. Is that
Oh, no worries. It's been underground for like 10 years somehow. It's only just recently actually started. It's actually funny. I haven't released anything in a couple of years. I've got a ton of stuff in the works, but I'm just really finicky before I like to release something to the public. So I want to make sure it's perfect. But my band has actually been getting a lot of followers recently, and I'm like, why? Like, we haven't even posted anything in a while. Like, but I'm actually really stoked about it. I'm not like, complaining about it. I was just curious as to like what the boom was. But looking at the YouTube channels for Witch House, some of the main ones that my friends run and stuff, they have like doubled their numbers in the past like 2-3 years. Like I think they were at like 40 something thousand subscribers, and now they're at like 80 something thousand, almost 90. And like this channel's been on here for like 10 years. Like, and I will say Witch House has changed a lot in the past 10 years. There's been so many evolutions of it, and people always do their own thing with it, which is honestly one of the reasons it appealed to me so much, because I was very new to music. I'd always just done visual art and, paintings, tattoos, stuff like that. But I love music, but I hadn't branched out into it. And I love to sing in the shower, in my room alone. But I hadn't thought about really doing it, in public other than karaoke, which I do love. But yeah, my friend in New Orleans, when I was living there at the time, he was like, "Hey, me and some other artists are like making this Witch House track, and do you want to sing on it?" And so I was just like, sure. I had this like new burst of confidence. I was like 21, had a tattoo apprenticeship, was super stoked on life. I think I was also teaching art at that time. So I was just like, yeah, let's do it. And so I wrote some lyrics, and it went really well, actually. That song is still on SoundCloud. It's under a different name than what our final project ended up being, which is Luco, which I'm just going to go ahead and explain that right now because Witch House has a lot of stylization to the band names because a lot of Witch House artists are Russian. A lot of them are from different countries all over the world. It's a very small, like niche genre, but it's very mass spread. So you find little pockets of Witch House communities and fans and shows and stuff. And so our band's name is Luco. That's how it's pronounced, but it's spelled like it's occult spelled backwards, but it is also spelled with like a T. Technically, if you want to find it on like social media, you're going to want to type in T, capital L, V, K, K, O. But we often stylize it with an ankh or a cross for the T, and the T is silent. So it's actually LVKKO in all caps, but it's, you know, Luco because there's a lot of V's being doubled as U's or A's in Witch House. So it's very silly in a lot of ways, but we have fun with it, and I like the fantasy of it for sure.
Okay.
It's all very dark.
I have a lot of questions I want to ask you stem from it, but before we go any further, I want to ask we always, as I was telling you before we started the show, we always ask the audience a question, and then we
Cool.
can. Do you have a question you'd like to ask the audience?
I'm just, my brain just immediately goes to, what's your favorite animal? Because like that's just a great question to ask anybody always. Or your favorite dinosaur. I want to know what the audience's favorite dinosaur is.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a different one. Okay. Technically, it's also the same as a. Whoops, hold on, my keyboard's not in the right setting. Give me a second here. Okay. Technically, you could say if you ask what's your favorite animal, you could ask that could also be you could also answer with a dinosaur as well. So, yeah.
Sure.
Let's see. What's your favorite?
Yeah, bonus points if it's a dinosaur.
Favorite dinosaur? How would DINOSA? Did I spell it right? Yeah. All right. I'll make sure. What's your favorite? That's pretty simple. Okay. Now for us to do this in the correct way, we have to give it options, or we can give up
Oh,
to.
good. Now I have to share my knowledge of dinosaurs. Oh gosh, where is like 11-year-old me who was into Dinotopia now? That's another thing that I feel like because of Land Before Time, we also learned a lot of the wrong names for dinosaurs. But I know that Triceratops is one, and he's a good guy. He usually fights the T-Rex, and of course we'll put T-Rex in there.
Okay.
And I will just go with my personal favorite, Velociraptor, as the third.
Okay, you got me on the spelling on that one. I have to figure out how to spell that one. Give me a second.
Triceratops. I'm just gonna not spelling bee here right now.
There it is. Right here. I got it. Fortunately, YouTube has a little spelling thing at the very top of their screen there, so I got it. Cool. Okay, so that. Oops. I think it looks right. Triceratops. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think that's right.
You said T-Rex?
Yeah, T-Rex.
And Velociraptor.
Classic. He's like Godzilla's cousin or something. Yeah, Velociraptor.
Oh.
Who hasn't seen Jurassic Park and just, feed themselves?
Well, of course,
kid.
Of course, what Velociraptor is, the one in the movie is actually completely and utterly wrong and from the ones that existed in real life. I don't know if you know that.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. No, the ones in real life had like feathers, and I was actually very interested in paleontology and archaeology as a fourth grader. So I actually tried to go to every museum I could that had any exhibits on these things, and I watched all the 3D IMAX films about it. And I was so stoked to find out that velociraptors had feathers. They were basically actually velociraptors devolved into chickens. No joke. They share the most common DNA with a chicken.
Well, they didn't evolve it, but they share the common.
Well, not devolve, but yeah, I just mean that's where their DNA. It's interesting if you look at just the similarities they have with modern creatures that are alive now. It's chickens, and honestly, you could see that looking at chickens. Honestly, chickens scare me, so I could see that.
Chickens scare you?
So glad they don't have teeth.
I don't think I've ever heard a person say they're scared of a chicken. That's interesting.
I'm terrified of chickens. I'm terrified of very few silly things in this world, but chickens is one of them. I like spiders though, so
Okay, I think I finally found the correct. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. I think I finally got the right spelling for Velociraptor. I apologize for this. There we go. Velociraptor. There we go. Okay. Any other options you want to give?
I really wish I could remember. I mean, I know duckbill is like a slang term for a certain kind of dinosaur, but I always liked those too, so we can put duckbill on there. But okay. And then Stegosaurus, that guy's a real. And I think they finally said that the Brontosaurus is actually a real dinosaur. They were wrong. Just like Pluto is actually a planet. They were wrong about that too. I'm so stoked Pluto's back as a planet. It's my favorite.
It's back to being. I thought it was downclassed to a. Wait, you saying it's not being a regular planet now?
They actually reclassified it because of like the way it's like what it's made of. Not just the size, but what it's made of. It technically is a planet again. And I'm like, yes. Although it makes my funny shirt that I have that says like "Rest in peace, Pluto," you know, and it's got a year that it was made a planet, year into being a planet on it, and it's pretty funny. But makes it completely irrelevant. But you know, I'm so glad that Pluto's a planet again because I did my like 3rd grade planet report on Pluto, and then they went and made Pluto not a planet. I was like, pretty sure Pluto's a planet. Did a report on it. Got a grade.
What was the last one again? I'm sorry, I completely forgot what you said already.
My bad. Stegosaurus.
Stegosaurus. Oh goodness, I'm gonna figure out how to spell that one now. Give me a second.
It's all good. I had to pick all the like complicated names. I couldn't just be like long neck.
Oh, here we go.
I did go with duckbill though. At least I did that. I don't remember what that one's called.
Is there? Yeah. Let me. Do you want?
We could put magical Leopleurodon on there for any Charlie the Unicorn fans. You know, old school YouTube.
Oh my God. Oh.
Gotta have the magical Leopleurodon. He might actually be my favorite. Sorry, Velociraptor.
It says duck-billed dinosaur is what it says. Interesting.
Okay, so that is a term people use for them. There's just like a more scientific name, like Stegosaurus.
Okay, so we got Does that look good? What's your favorite dinosaur? That's all we can't put. Unfortunately, we can only put 5 results.
No, it's okay. Leopleurodon can stay. He can wait.
Okay, I'll go ahead and post that, and there we go. So now we'll come back. We'll come back later on. We can see what kind of results we get on that. See if hopefully everything is grammatically correct. Every once in a while, I leave something out there, and we'll find out because they always get me later on, and they comment. Right. So
of course, the internet will be there to correct you.
So so wait a minute. So if you don't mind me asking, when did Pluto was it reclassified? Was this very recent?
I will Google this real quick because now I was talking to somebody recently about it and like reading articles, and I was like, yay. Unless they were just totally trolling me. Oh, yeah, planet again. Okay, there it is. Like, please tell me they weren't trolling me.
Because there was
August 2006. Was it okay? So it's a dwarf planet, but it's still a planet. I guess that's what it is. But wait, is Pluto a planet in 2021? There we go.
Because what I remember, what Neil deGrasse Tyson was saying that it was too small, but then there's another planetoid that's actually larger than Pluto, and then they started finding a whole bunch of other dwarf planets that were actually the same size as Pluto, and they realized, well, if they did all that, there would be like literally like dozens or maybe even hundreds of planets out there. So that's why they downsized it. It dropped it down from being a planet to like a dwarf planet, whatever they call it now. So that's what I was kind of curious if they did that. What about all those other ones that they discovered that were out there floating about?
Right. So. I mean, I just think they're all planets of different sizes, maybe. But like, yeah, I think I might have just been getting trolled. I'm not sure now because I tried to like really look it up again, and I'm like, where did it go? Like, I could have sworn I was talking to somebody there because I was thinking about my shirt and how it wasn't funny anymore if Pluto was a planet again. Oh, so I don't know exactly what happened. You know, the internet's full of misinformation. You can't believe, just the 2% of it sometimes,
Yeah.
I should have done more research. I really wanted Pluto to be a planet again. I just wanted to believe it.
Well, for this show, we'll say that it is a planet. How's that?
It's a planet in my heart. It's a dwarf. I don't care if it's a dwarf planet. Like, I'm only 5'3". I'm short too. It's cool.
Okay. So I want to get back to your band because that's where we left off. So how did you start your band? I'm curious.
So like I said, originally, this friend of mine in New Orleans who's a musician also hit me up, was just like, hey, come sing with us. I did, went really well. We just started hanging out a lot more and started working on music a lot more. And, actually I'm going to try not to get too sidetracked here, but, there are some things I don't mind getting into that did kind of affect the album a lot, because originally it was just kind of, I don't exactly know what to do with it. We were just kind of working on songs and seeing where it went. Again, I wanted to do Witch House because it was very freeform in a lot of ways. Like, there's very few things you have to really have sound wise to be considered Witch House. And honestly, it's like not even the same few things it was in the beginning that it is now. So we did, I think, 2 or 3 tracks. And then I actually have schizophrenia and borderline personality disorder, as well as like severe depression, a few other things, but like those are the main ones. And I went through a really severe schizophrenic, like mental breakdown, and was hospitalized for 3 months to where like they didn't know if I was going to come out of it. I didn't remember who I was, like where I lived. I had a whole other identity. I thought that like, you know, the FBI was after me and they were walking through walls and stuff. And
Wow.
like, yeah, it was wild. It was a wild ride. I won't get too much into that, but like that definitely postponed the album, but it also really affected me because having to like find your way back to you is a very, I feel like almost like rare experience in life to have it happen to that degree where you're like, oh yeah, that's my name. I'm that person. I lived there. Oh wow, I did all of that. And then like having to constantly fight the delusions to like get back to reality. And I mean, I'm still kind of on, I reference it as like being on like the middle of the, or like between the rabbit hole in Wonderland and the real world. And it's like, I can see into Wonderland. I know it's there, but I just don't dive into it. And I just try to participate mostly in the, you know, the real world. But it's like, I'm aware of it now, because before then I would like hear stuff occasionally and like things be weird sometimes, but it wasn't like being in a fully immersive different reality where like you're having conversations with people that they say never happened. And you're just like, okay, that's cool, whatever. Like my world and my brain, and that's fine. You just have to accept like consensus reality and ask people questions. Sometimes like, hey, is this happening? Is this real? Like sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But like that definitely kind of guided the whole direction for the album after that, because it became about, because I became really paranoid and fearful. So I didn't want to talk to anybody. Surprisingly, I know I never shut up now. And that's how I've been most of my life. But I actually was like so quiet, I freaked people out. They were like, why is she like never say anything? So like I was only comfortable speaking through my music at first when I got out of the hospital. And so I kind of like coded it all and put it all in the album and just wrote about the fear and the light and trying to hunt for that and not lose yourself and to believe in like good, and that that's what's going to prevail at the end of the day, and that like you're not dead, and that like a demon's not inside of you, and like nobody's gonna hurt your family, and everything's okay, you know. And to just truly believe that, and like not do all the crazy things that your voices are telling you to do to prevent all these things, you know. And because that was really like what kept me there for 3 months until I finally just stopped being afraid. Because I heard the whole hospital talk about burning me as a witch, which was very horrifying.
Oh
So
my
I really thought
goodness.
they were going to do it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. So, okay. So that was, it was, they, okay, never mind. I at first I thought you meant they literally were saying that, but that's what you inserted.
No, I saw this and heard this, but it wasn't reality. Like, I don't think like that was a great hospital. They got me better. But like in my reality, I'm hearing the nurses tell me that like, oh yeah, you're dead. It's okay. Like you're my patient, but you're dead. Like I literally thought I was dead. And then they're also like conspiring in the hallways and talking outside of my room and saying like, yeah, you're going to be there tonight. You're going to burn her. Like, I'm like, oh my God. It was horrifying. It really was. It was very scary, but I eventually just had to like stop being afraid. You just had to like, I got fed up because I would stay up all night trying to, because like I had this like vision or something at one point where they were going to like rip me out of bed and take me away to burn me. And I heard myself scream for my life in this like delusion. And that's really horrifying. Nobody ever wants to live through that. So I thought that like if I could just stay up all night or change my clothes enough times during the day or eat the right food or not eat the wrong food, I could like prevent that from happening. So I was driving myself like more insane trying to keep that up. And eventually just, yeah, I had to just sleep and like stop and eat and just take care of myself. And because I'd gotten down to like 70 pounds and it was really bad. Yeah, because I'm already like, I'm underweight at the moment, but like I'm normally about 130 and I think about 95 right now, but I'd gotten down to 70. It was bad. And so like I just had to start eating again and sleeping again. And I got better. And I remembered who I was. And I was also scared to say the word I at the time. I was really terrified of that. I would say she, which really freaks people out. Don't go around saying, can she have blah, 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 please? Little like, they'll be like, she who? And you're like, me? And they're like, what? Just say I. Like, and don't say we either. Don't ever say we. No, really freak them out.
No,
Like, we need. Like, don't say that.
I want to say something, and this is not to diminish what you've gone through. It really isn't. But when I was like 19 years old, I spent some time on my uncle's farm. I made some arbitrary comment to my uncle where I said I always wondered what it would be like to lose my memory, to experience what that would be like. And he looked at me and said, well, if you did that, then you wouldn't remember who you are. So it's like, oh yeah, he's right. But I think I said to him, well, okay, yeah, but I eventually I had to get my memory back, of course. So, you know, but I mean, and I was always wondering what that would be like. I mean, would you my first thought would be like, you would be like, would you lose your fear of things? Would you lose the idea, like the things that you're afraid of, would those just disappear, and like you wouldn't have any worries anymore? Do other things in life, are they gone? People, the things that you like, are they missing? How does that correlate with what's going on with what happened with you? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, see, that's the funny thing is that like I didn't just like, I think if you could just completely forget everything, maybe everything would just be okay. The thing is, I didn't just forget everything. I just kind of forgot who I was. I still had a lot of fear, a lot of delusions of like being this other person. It's actually kind of funny. That's where part of my stage name ended up coming from, was that whole delusion of thinking that like I was this other person. Because I think they just misspelled my name on the door the first night I was at the hospital. So I just was like, oh, okay, I'm in another reality. I destroyed my reality. I'm trying to be reincarnated, but this isn't working. So they've like, because I'm stuck in this body with this demon, and like it was just this whole thing. So like I had all these other problems because I was trying to be this other person in this new reality. And like I literally buried myself to where like I did not think about who I had been, who I was. Like I just thought I was dead and thought there was no sense in trying to be that person anymore, and just tried to like put myself fully into this other person to the point where I literally forgot who I was. And then I remember being in this really horrific holding facility that they put people in between like short-term facilities and long-term facilities, and it's literally set up like a jail. And I literally woke up, I was like, I'm in jail, I'm dead, I'm in jail, and I'm in hell, and like, oh my god, and so like I remember being in there when I actually remembered who I was. Um, I was like laying on the like concrete slab thing and just like had my head down and I like in like kind of almost like a fetal position, but like um, I guess I think it's called child's pose maybe in yoga. But like I just started thinking about this day that me and because that's the thing is I remember my best friends because they were kind of there through the descent. Like my best friend would show up at my house and try to shove like granola bars in my face and try to like get me to like be okay and tell me that like it's okay. Nobody's watching you. It's okay. So like I would remember them a lot and try to like protect them and make sure that like they were okay, even though I didn't remember who I was. It's a very weird thing to like remember who your friends are, but not who you are, or your like relationships with them exactly. But I did finally get a memory back of dancing in the rain in New Orleans with my best friend when we were like hula hooping and just like it wasn't raining when we went out there, but like we were just like running around hula hooping and she had her like fire poi and we were just having a lot of fun. And it just came on and started raining. And like she just kept going even. I mean, the poi can go for a while in the rain, but it was just a really awesome experience. And we were listening to music and just, I don't know, it was just a really complete day. And that was the first memory I got back. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm Lórien. I lived in New Orleans. My best friend is so like, I don't know if she'd want me to say her name. She's really shy. But still, yeah, she was the first person I remember that helped me start to find my way back to me because I would still lose it sometimes. I would still like, because I was still stuck in this reality, even though I'd started to remember that I'd been this other person who was like, who I really wanted to be. I think I remember one of the things that like I realized in the hospital is like what a beautiful thing it is to be human and to be alive and like to get to be us. Like we have so much ability in this realm to like create and make and do and build. And like to feel like you've completely squandered that and have no chance at it ever again is like really terrifying.
I bet.
But yeah, like it definitely fueled a lot of the material for the album when I got out and just like having somewhere to put it. And as far as just your question though, yeah, it's you could amass a whole new set of problems.
So let me ask you a couple of questions. Now, these I'm going to base these on things that you and I discussed before we went live. So you should know what I'm talking about here when I ask you these. So where I guess to start off with, where are you from?
Okay, so I was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Lived there until I was 9, and then moved to Mississippi. Not of my choice, but family stuff. Mom's from this area. I grew up in Mississippi till about I was 20 when I moved to New Orleans because I was just fed up working in the mall and doing nothing and just, partying all the time and just like having nothing to do. Because I already knew I didn't want to like go to college because I wanted to pursue art and stuff and just didn't see what I was getting in debt for.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Of course.
You're Mississippi. Looking at you and the way you're dressed right there, I can't imagine you being from Mississippi. That's I don't
honestly. I blame them for it sometimes, like because I remember getting here in like 4th grade and then being like I didn't really. I mean, I wasn't goth in 4th grade. I was goth by 5th grade or 6th grade, but like 4th grade, I was like bell bottoms and like peasant sleeve tops and like the embroidered bell bottoms definitely. And I had like short brown hair. And like at first, the popular girls were like, "Oh, you're new and interesting and we want to be your friend." And then like we walk outside and they just start being mean to this girl who's just sitting there minding her own business. And I was just like, what did she do to you guys? Like, why are y'all doing that? And they're like, "Oh, well, you want to defend her? You can be her friend then." And I was like, "Okay, I will." And so like I sat down with her and was, she actually became one of my best friends at that school for like 4 years. And of course that definitely socially doomed me. I have a way of doing that to myself because I don't care. I'll just like, I don't like people being that breathe. I don't like seeing people be mistreated. So I will always stand up for that. And it just, I ended up not fitting in and being an outcast and then also attacked on top of like just not being popular. So I just said, screw it. Y'all are scared of goth stuff and Halloween. And I already loved all of that. I just hadn't decided to do it yet. And I started watching a lot of Fuse, which was like, my generation's MTV, I guess, since MTV was mostly reality TV at that point. But yeah, I started like listening to darker music, less Radio Disney, more punk and like just rock music, emo stuff. Even AFI is one of my very favorite bands. They were probably the first one that really, I think Green Day really changed me at first. I was like, I'm gonna be punk now. Screw all these rednecks. Like, like I went and dyed neon red streaks in my hair in like 6th grade because there was no rule against it. And the next year there was a rule against it. My teachers had a conniption fit.
Oh,
so
I
was just like, y'all don't like this? All right, I do. Have at it. Like, call me, because I literally cut the highlights out of my hair, and my hair is naturally very dark one year. And they were like, "Oh, you dyed your hair black. Are you going goth? Oh my God, are you going goth? Are you gonna start worshiping the devil?" Like, what's funny is I still don't worship the devil. Like, I like a lot of imagery and stuff, but like, I'm so much more into the root imagery of everything. Like Pan maybe, but like not Satan. And I'll say Hell Satan as a joke, but.
Sorry, I was going to ask you one thing. Have you ever seen the movie Bustin'? I think it's Bustin' Loose with Kevin Bacon, where he's the dancer. Is that what it is? He goes to a country small hick town, and he's like he's like the guy from the city, and he's all cool and everything. And they're all a bunch of redneck types, and he teaches them how to dance and everything because he's the cool guy, of course, because the city people know more than the country people.
Right.
Would you equate it to something like that? Maybe, I don't know.
I haven't seen that. It sounds hilarious. I would totally watch it because I love watching stuff about people coming from like to or from small towns because I've done a lot of that back and forth. So like, it sounds like a good movie. I will say I did try to influence the scene here, and it went pretty well. I hosted a bunch of goth nights in Hattiesburg a few years ago, and I was just here for family stuff, and it went really well. People liked it. They came. The events made money. I managed to pay bands come play. I organized the whole events, played them myself, and had a newborn and infant. Newborns turn into infants, whether they aren't infants. But yeah, I had a baby at the time, and I was pregnant through most of it too. So like, I literally hosted all these shows, organized them, everything, by myself. And like, that means door person, sound guy, all the bands, make sure everybody gets paid, make sure everybody gets on stage on time, make costumes for my band, have practice with my band. It was a lot. I don't know why I did that, but I did.
It was, by the way, I need to correct myself. It was Footloose. I'm sorry, Footloose in 1884.
Oh, Footloose. No, actually, I haven't seen that one, but I need to. Sorry, most of the time when I'm focusing on like any like 80s movies or 70s, 90s, whatever, I'm usually watching horror movies. I'll admit.
Okay. I'd like to. Say it again. I'm sorry. Say the last part.
I said I would be down to watch it though.
Oh, okay. I got to tell you my story. See, what I told you, I was on my uncle's farm. And I told you, I told him what it'd be like to lose my memory. Well, what had happened was I spent 3 weeks on my uncle's farm, and I'm from the DC area, metropolitan area. So I grew up in a more urban area. And so when I came there, it was completely, there was like hardly anybody anywhere. It was like so rural. There's hardly anybody around. And he even said to me, you look like a city slicker around here. And it's like,
I've heard that.
and it was kind of funny because I brought one of my cats with me. In fact, it looks just like the cat that's on my avatar. That one's long since been dead though. That was like a long time ago. But it was, my cat looked like a city cat versus their cats, which were like country cats, which are all like a mix of different, textures and everything. So it was really fun. It was a unique experience. So I can kind of relate to what you're saying. I was already an adult though. I was not in high school, so it was like about 19, going on 20 or so. So, like I say though, it was a very unique experience. I wore my hair pretty long, and people are looking at me like, "What you got that long hair?" So,
Yeah, no, I've definitely heard all of it because, yeah, I mean, the town that my mom moved me to when I was 9 was 300 people. And my family's lived there for like 5 generations. So on her side anyways. So yeah, no, I feel you. Like, I mean, I literally didn't understand anybody the first month I lived in Mississippi. I was like, what are you guys saying? What is a yonder? Like, like, yeah, culture shock is definitely a thing. And certain places, I don't think it ever goes away depending on what you were raised with. But at the same time, like, there are things that like still surprise me sometimes, but I'm just like, oh yeah, that's just the South though. Like you just get kind of like used to it. Like it's like, no, it's still a problem at times. Some of it's not. Some of it's just funny and interesting. Like the humidity, it's just the South. But
Oh, I bet you where you are, it must be really humid. Oh my goodness, yeah. We get humid in DC, and it's like, but the temperatures there must be really. I mean, what do you get, like above 100? Do you ever get on?
Oh, totally, yeah, all the time. Especially with the heat index, it gets up to like 110, 120. Like we get like emails on our phones about like, don't go outside, it's too hot today.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, and if it's not raining, otherwise it's raining.
Now, Virginia, where I live, and I've lived here my whole life, except for that 3 weeks I spent on my uncle's farm. If I go just maybe a couple counties away, we're very much into the rural area. So Confederate flags all over the place. The slogans where the men are men and the women are too, kind of a thing. So.
God, yeah, no, I feel you. Honestly, I totally feel you. Like I live in a relatively populated area, but like it's definitely one of like the bigger quote cities in Mississippi. But most of it's like that. Like so where my grandma lives, where I grew up for like 4 years out of the like 15 or so I've been here or whatever. Yeah, in that really tiny town, like, oh yeah. I mean, dude, I'm not joking. I can't talk about my plans on, public stuff because that's incriminating, but there is a shed with like the KKK symbol on it, like on the way to my grandma's house. And I'm just like, why is that there? Like, why is that still there? Like,
well, I gotta say though, the racism is very prominent in the North, so it's not just the South. Because my uncle's farm was in Pennsylvania, and there was a lot of, not from my family directly, but people saying the N-word a lot, and it was very prominent in that area. So I don't, it's not localized just the South, I can assure you. So
yeah, totally not. Honestly, I learned that very quickly when I went on this road trip and moved out to Oregon on a whim, and we encountered so many neo-Nazis in the Northwest, the Pacific Northwest. Like it is like riddled with neo-Nazis. Like they are everywhere. Like we even like end up they'd like end up in our groups and stuff. And I'm just like, how do you think this is cool to just like call yourself a Nazi? Like, what the hell? And then they try to be like, oh, well, I'm just proud to be white and I'm not really, I don't hate people. But then they would like totally do crazy crap to like about like color and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, how do y'all think this is okay? Like I get it, like we're all like dirty kid homeless kids right now, but like there's a way to act towards just your fellow human, and like because they're a human, like that's not it. Oh, well, yeah, one of them I actually witnessed him put a hatchet in a guy's head, so that was fun.
You actually saw that?
Yeah, it was actually the guy I had moved out there with. I mean, it's a long story, but he was like, I'm a neo-Nazi. He had like, I think he just watched out his forehead. I don't know. He was crazy, and I didn't let him into the camp. Someone else let him in, and he was camping like down the road from us, and he ended up like coming after. Oh, sorry, I just stuck my mic. He ended up coming after the guy I was like there with, and in like the middle of the night, Like we're walking down towards our camp. He just like he decided to hate it, and they were both like really crazy aggro, dirty kid, gutter punk type people, and so they clashed. You can't have two of those in one camp; it will always end badly. Like you just can't. And so he like comes after him, just like I mean, this guy looks like a Viking. No joke. He tries to look like a Viking, but he also legitimately looks like a Viking. And so he comes out of the dark just like with this hatchet and just this look on his eye, like his face, and just like smacks my boyfriend, I guess at the time, like upside the head. I mean, luckily he hit him with the back of it. He shoved me out of the way to do this. Like I was like, oh my God. So like we started running. And I woke up with the other people in the camp that we were in, and we got in my other friend's truck and took him an hour away to the nearest hospital. Because keep in mind, we're on like a mountain outside of like Ashland, Oregon, with no cell service.
Right.
Yeah, it was a wild night. There had been like some kids on some kind of drugs running around in the woods claiming they were aliens. Like it was a long night. But yeah, so like just, crazy neo-Nazi type people who just, do that kind of stuff because that's just what their impulses do. I mean, I think he had a bunch of warrants he was running from in Washington and ended up like in prison where he probably should be. So yeah, I've seen some crazy stuff in life. Like,
was the injury severe in your friend? Was he okay? I mean, how bad?
Yeah, he had 9 staples along his scalp, and he healed up fine as far. I mean, we haven't really talked to that person in probably many years. It kind of ended kind of badly. It's wild when you're homeless just on the street and like always just every day is kind of, you don't really know what's going to happen. You just kind of go with the flow. Like friendships and stuff don't often last very, very long unless and that's weird. There are some that last a long time because you just keep like happen chance running into the same people. Like I ran into people in San Francisco I'd met up in Oregon just by chance. And I was like, oh, my friends, you have people I like. But like some of the people you'll travel with, that's one thing. When you're traveling with someone, like living with someone and like sharing a tent with someone, that's your living space. Like, things get hostile. They do. They just do. And especially if, you're both not the most mentally stable people on the planet. But I mean, there's a lot. I will say, like, even through all of that, though, it was so worth it. It was so enchanting, like getting to live in nature like that. Like my sense of smell actually got like crazy good. Like it was really wild. I lived out there for about 3 months on like different mountains in Oregon, and then we hitchhiked to San Francisco over the course of a couple weeks. That was an adventure.
Were you off the grid? What that off the grid, like living? Really? Wow.
Basically, yeah. I mean, we lived next to like water sources, and we just live in like tents out in like the woods for like a month at a time, and then moved to a different mountain. We were working on like some cannabis farms out there, just to like get food money and stuff. But otherwise, yeah, we were just living, and just like we'd get up and go to like the fairy ponds, which is like this really beautiful like bouldery water area in Ashland, and we'd go explore some like nature trails or go walk around downtown and catch Pokemon. And like, it was just, we just did whatever we wanted, and if we like, it was there was like enough work for everybody, like, get food and booze and stuff. But like, it wasn't like we had to work every day. Like it was every morning we'd wake up and the guy who was kind of in charge of that would like be like, hey, you and you're coming with me today. And the rest of us would just go to town and like hang out and do whatever, and it was just really peaceful. And like, I just remember not really having any worries. It was probably the most at peace I've ever been.
Were you connected to the like through internet or anything? Were you?
I had my phone. I will say when we were on the mountain, because we lived on a mountain for like a good month or two of it, that was an hour away from Ashland, which is not a large town, but it's a really beautiful town. I had a phone that would work, when we were in Ashland, but not on the mountain. So like, I didn't use it a whole lot. I posted a bit of my trip when I was hitchhiking. That I did kind of catalog a bit just because I was going through Shasta and Humboldt and Arcata, and like I've slept on so many highways, on sides of highways across like NorCal and in parks in San Francisco. I lived in San Francisco in parks for a month. So
how many different places have you been? I'm just curious.
I mean, I've been all over as far as visiting and just going on vacations and stuff, all over like pretty much the greater Southeast here in the United States. I'm like I said, from New Mexico, so I've been through Texas, I've been through Oklahoma, I've pretty much only not been like past, I want to say like North Carolina on the East Coast, and then I went to Detroit once, but it was only for like a weekend, and I was in a casino the whole time. It was a waste of a trip to Detroit because Detroit's beautiful.
You have casinos.
I want to go back to Detroit.
They
Sorry,
have
what?
casinos. They have casinos in Detroit. Is that right?
Oh God, yes. There's like a whole casino resort deal. There's like a few of them actually, I think.
Are they
Um,
reservations like for Native Americans? Or is it like is this actually by the
yeah,
government?
just like it's like next to like the Masonic Temple downtown kind of area.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
No, it was really beautiful. Like God, the architecture in Detroit. I swear it's real life Gotham. Like like Batman. Like
Yeah.
it looks like that. It is so beautiful. There's actually a witch house scene in Detroit, a small one, but there is one there.
Okay. But I got to ask you about Witch House. This is something that since you brought it back up again. I wanted to ask you this earlier and I forgot. Is it becoming more mainstream, or is it still kind of a underground? How would you describe it?
Well, see, that's the thing. It is actually becoming more mainstream, and I think that's why we've seen the channels and all of our socials and stuff kind of blow up recently for like no reason. Like we're not releasing any more, music than we were or anything, but I think more people are making it, and also more people are just finding it because I think it's also a lot to do with, and actually this ties into your question earlier about me looking the way I do and being in Mississippi because for years, yes, I got told you're going to hell for wearing black. You are celebrating the devil, like like all the things from strangers in Walmart, like people I don't even know. And not to mention like people I went to school with, because yeah, there was this one girl in like 8th grade that literally like I think she was like Pentecostal or something, and I started wearing black and stuff and like white face paint, red eyeliner, and dyeing my hair black, and she's like, "You're going to hell." And I'm just like, Hannah, I'm a Christian. And she's like, because I was at the time. And she's like, I don't, she's like, you're not a Christian. Christians don't dress like that. And I was like, but I don't think the Bible really specifies how you're supposed to dress other than like some kind of cotton blend deal, which you're probably violating too, So like, no, I'm not. And then I like even brought her Bible verses about not judging people, and she threw them at my feet, and she was like, I doubt we read the same Bible. It was like 8th grade. Like this girl terrorizing me for my clothing, like. But it's interesting though because like even a year ago, maybe a couple years ago, I was standing in line at a restaurant, and I had some like goat pentagram leggings on, and this like soccer mom type lady who usually I'm used to like and like they're covering their children's eyes and stuff, like that's usually what I'm used to from these types, but like she's actually like, I really like your leggings. I was like, what? Like, thank you, but like, what? Like, I was not expecting that. Like, weren't you going to tell me how I was going to go to hell? Like, I mean, it's cool. I'm really honestly grateful for the change because I'd much rather be complimented than chastised. But it is weird to see it because, yeah, goth is like blown the hell up. Like, I mean, I swear I can't get on Facebook and look through the people I may know without like 99% of them being goth, which may also just be my friend circle. But no, it's gotten really, really big lately. And I think it's kind of a blend of things as to why that's happening. I think that, yes, of course, the internet, subcultures are right at your fingertips always, and you can just go find one and emulate it and have fun with it your own way. But like, I also think it has a lot to do with music lately. I mean, I'll bring up one of my favorite artists, Billie Eilish. Who doesn't like her? But like, she
Well,
has a lot of darker themes. I mean, she's even gotten like, soccer moms being like, she released a whole satanic album, and even though it's like it's not even like that, like she's just like getting into metaphors and things, like calm down. But like I think she has a lot of influence, to be honest, especially on the younger generation, and even like the younger people in my generation, because like I said, I've been doing this since I was like 11, when it was still like you got trouble or chastised or made fun of or sent home from school. That's what you got for that when I was doing it. And I will say that's my only rule, really, as far as I'm concerned, as somebody who's done goth before it was the biggest trend on the planet, is that as long as you weren't mean to goth people, as long as you're not mean to alternative people, then like go for it. Have fun. Welcome to the club. It's fun. It's hella fun. It's really great. Like I have so much fun with styling. And I mean, I don't just do goth. I do lots of other things. Most of it is pretty like extreme, I guess. I don't really do like downplayed normal looks because I just get bored with that personally. But I don't know. I gotta say though, with as much of it, like this kind of stuff as I've seen lately, I'm like tempted to do some like really normal looking thing just to like shock myself.
oh, I'm in the all black club. I don't know if you consider yourself all black, but I wear black all the time. So
My nails are usually black. That would have been a lot better if they had been, but they match my hair. They're so pretty, pink and sparkly.
are those all tattoos? Wow, on your hands?
Oh yeah, these are all tattoos. I actually did these myself These ones I want to get touched up. It says Lone Wolf because that's the day I was born on. This is a bunch of occult symbols that I actually also kind of want to get gone over because I don't like the person who did them anymore. And he didn't really do what I wanted anyways. Oh yeah, I don't really have anything else on that arm. But this arm is like sleep the hell out.
Oh.
I have like over 20 something tattoos now.
Wow.
But yeah, it's my.
It almost looks like you're wearing a sleeve there. It's like a sleeve of tattoos. Like that's part of an article of clothing almost.
It's called a tattoo sleeve. But yeah, this is mostly band related. This is like all AFI from here down to the pumpkin. And then I've got my little Friday the 13th ghost that me and my best friend both have. So we got it together. And then I've got a bat because Halloween. I'm going to get a coffin and like a spider and some other stuff up there for Halloween because it's my very favorite holiday. That you couldn't tell by looking at me. And then I got my white pony, Deftones, because yeah, they're also a really big influence on me.
Now getting the tattoos on your fingers, doesn't that hurt because there's hardly any? It's right next to your bone. When you're.
Oh yeah. It hurts quite a lot. Knuckles is actually some of the most painful areas, especially like, I mean. It's doable. I did stick and poke for these ones first. And I will say, I think stick and poke is a little bit less painful. It takes more time, but like you're not penetrating the skin quite as deep each time. You're like building up color rather than just like driving it in there. So I don't think that hurt as bad, but I will say the healing process for knuckles sucks because they swell up and they just hurt for days until they heal. I will say, I think ribs is probably the most painful area in my opinion. I have like a dumb little bird right here. Like this little bird. And that is the most painful tattoo I have. And I'm tattooed literally from like here to, so like, yeah. And like even this is my deer skull. I actually designed this when I was 18 and had it done. So it's
wow.
Like antlers and stuff.
Wow. That's interesting. So you do, you're a tattoo artist. Did you do any of that yourself? How many did?
The ones I've I had a feeling this might come up, but I told myself I should shave my legs this morning, but I did not. And so most of the ones I've done are on my legs because that's kind of standard. Like your legs are a lot easier to cover. Like I said, I did these ones right here that I can show. But the ones on my leg, let's see, I can possibly. So I have been through 4 apprenticeships. I know how to tattoo. I have never ever had anyone complain about any tattoo I've ever done. However, I have not completed any of those apprenticeships enough to get a license because of a lot of, to be honest, just misogyny and really ridiculous expectations on my part as to what being a female apprentice means to the male members of the shops at times. So I just left every time because I got sick of that crap. So I was actually thinking about getting back into that recently. I'm supposed to be going to cosmetology school soon because I love doing hair and makeup too. So I was considering also trying to find another apprenticeship, just finally get that license. Because I mean, I've been hired in tattoo shops as an apprentice and still getting paid because they're like, wow, yeah, your work is better than our other apprentices. Like there's no need to set you behind. Like I've been tattooing for like 4 or 5 years. I know what I'm doing. I just don't have the little stupid certificate because the kids. Sorry.
So what happens? This is something I've always wondered. If you're putting a tattoo on somebody, what happens if you make a mistake?
You fix it. You find a way to fix it.
Okay. I was just
like I draw in pen a lot. I've always drawn in pen my whole life. I prefer pen to pencils. So I'm used to, I made this line. I have to make that line into something now,
Okay. You ever seen the painter Bob Ross with the white guy with the afro?
I love Bob Ross.
Okay. Yeah. And he was happy little mistakes.
Happy little trees. Yeah. He's great. I love Bob Ross.
Because he would make something that he make a little mistake. How happy it was. He would just say, "Oh no, it's okay. It's okay."
But yeah, that's what you got to do. And I mean, and sometimes, look, even this one is mostly this mistake was made by the first person who ever tattooed me. He's a very good tattoo artist, but like it happens. Where is it? There it is, right there. He actually drew this. This is spider webs up here. Someone actually darkened it a little bit too much when I asked them to like shade it. But like I've had like 4 people work on this piece. But yeah, he actually, I don't know if you all can see that, but right there, he drew the spider web line into the nose of the rabbit skull. Oh, but I don't care because you know what? It's art, and like art is not supposed to be perfect. I don't want a computer to tattoo me. I want a human to tattoo me and put their soul into it.
What happened? Well, that's cool. I mean, you feel that way, but what about the person who's like, hey, they get ballistic and start screaming at you? That's not what I wanted.
I just think it really depends on how big the mistake is. Honestly, mistakes are cover-upable, potentially even removable if you want to go that route. But mistakes are fixable. Whereas like the main thing you really want to worry about and not doing to somebody is like hurting them, because you are doing like surface area damage and dealing with like bloodborne pathogens, potentially all those kinds of, like it's basically a medical procedure. So you just want to make sure that you're not hurting the epidermis, you're not going too deep, that you're not going over lines too many times, that you're not like turning the skin to hamburger meat with the shaders. Like that's a lot more important, in my opinion, as far as just like application of the tattoo goes. I feel like as long as you've got that down, you can then spend the time focusing on getting all your lines right.
Okay. Is this something you want to maintain? Do you want to keep this going? I mean, is this something you like to do? It sounds like it.
Yeah, it is. I get a lot of fulfillment out of tattooing people and seeing them just like light up. I mean, that's why I want to be a cosmetologist too. Like I used to work retail and dress people in clothes and pick outfits out for them and put them in corsets and like dressing room a lot. And so like I love helping people feel beautiful and feel like the truest version of themselves. And everything I do in life, pretty much I want to like do that and like, have that. Even my music, I want it to make people feel like they're not alone, I want my art to make people feel like, oh wow, wonder and like expression is totally valid and I should do that too. Like I really just want to inspire people and like make them feel not alone, and make them feel beautiful and for everything that they are and everything that they are not, because nobody is perfect.
Well, perfect is relative. Perfect is relative. So it's like
exactly. It's a silly human concept. It's not even real. Like, perfect for you could be terrible for someone else. So who cares?
So as getting back to the places you've been, have you been outside of what's the furthest? I'm going back on some of the things you had talked about with me earlier. Where's the furthest place you've ever traveled to? Is there any place in particular?
So I was gonna say like in dreams or reality. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, in reality, I have not been out of the U.S. yet. Unfortunately, it is definitely on my goal list. Has been for ever. But with COVID and everything, who knows when that's going to happen. I'm trying to stay in my house as much as possible right now. But yeah, I've been. I don't think I actually ever went into Washington. Maybe I did for like a second when I was in Oregon. But I want to say like Oregon and like Miami. I've been from Oregon to Miami, but I haven't been to like Southern California much. I mean, I took a Greyhound from San Francisco to LA and then from LA to New Orleans, but like I was only in LA for a second and I guess I wasn't a huge fan. It was kind of really dirty. But like other than that, I wasn't there very long, so can't really speak on it. But I haven't been through that like Southern California, Baja, Mexico area. But I could swear I've been to Arizona as a kid. I don't remember it now, but like, New Mexico. And then I guess, yeah, like Detroit. I've been in like this giant like octagon kind of, but I've also avoided the Midwest somehow, and not on purpose, but I just have. So
when you travel, is it always by ground? Like, do you ever fly? I mean, yeah.
Sometimes. I travel pretty much any which way. I actually don't drive or know how to, because I got in a really traumatic accident when I was like 16 and just kind of was like, nope, that's not for me, not doing that. I will figure out every other form of transportation. So I have. I can bike, I can skateboard, I can longboard, I can take a bus, I can take a train, I can take a plane. Like, just tell me to be there, I will.
My travels, just to relate to what you're doing. I've been across the country once in my life. I drove from Virginia to Los Angeles and back in 1 week. So
wow.
that was a killer trip too. So
yeah, that's
hardly any sleep.
Yeah, no, that's the only way you could do that. That's wild.
And we did stop in Las Vegas and spend a night there. So it was my friend and my best friend. We've been friends. I have a friend that we've been friends since we were 10 years old. So we were like in our early 20s, and we just decided to go on a trip. It was kind of fun. By the time we got back there, we were on each other's nerves. We couldn't talk to each other for a while. So, but as far as like, there was one other question. I wasn't sure how you felt about answering this, but you did bring this up here. You said you were homeless.
Yeah, actually, I did. I spent a good bit of time homeless out in Oregon. It was kind of a conscious decision and kind of an accident, because I was in New Orleans. This was after I'd moved back after getting out of the mental hospital and all that. I was like 22, and I was bartending on Frenchman and like making tons of money, but like really miserable. Like my friends were fighting all the time and put me in the middle of it, and I just wanted out. So I met this like gutter punk dirty kid at the bar one night after I got off, and I was just like, hey, you want to hang out? And so we started hanging out. And he's like for like 3 weeks or so, I think week 2, he's like, do you want to move to Oregon with me? And I was just like, I guess I don't really have a reason not to, So like I did. A week later, we like packed up, we left. We took 2 weeks to drive from New Orleans all the way to Ashland, Oregon. We stayed in Colorado for a while. We got a gun pulled on us in Oklahoma just for my friend having a knife on his hip. So that was
my
fun.
goodness.
Yeah, the cops in Oklahoma are crazy. Like, oh my God, at least the rural parts. They're looking for something to entertain them with.
So the person who pulled the gun was a cop?
Yeah, it was a cop. Oh yeah. Like the guy like pulled us over for nothing. Okay, so we pull over in Oklahoma to a gas station in like the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's Oklahoma, and it was like that part of Oklahoma is nothing, and like my guy and my other chick friend who's with us, it was like me and another girl and 2 guys that all decided to just pack up and go and just leave New Orleans. We were done. So she and I are in this freaking car. Like, you didn't even see me, but like they go into the gas station and the clerk's all like to them because like one of them has blue hair and one of them has long hair, and also the blue haired one had like face tattoos and stuff. So she was not a fan. So apparently, like right after they get out of the store, she calls the cops just for them existing. We were doing nothing. We just got snacks and gas, literally. And he like pulls up and like goes into the store. So we're like, okay, I guess that has nothing to do with us. So we pull off, and like no joke, 5 minutes later, woo, 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 behind us, like, and we're on a highway, keep in mind, there aren't any stop signs on like, most stretches of highways. And he claims that we ran a stop sign and he had to pull us over for that. And he literally like, he goes over to, the driver's side window and he tells us that. And then he sees like the knife on my friend's hip. I mean, we're from New Orleans. We carry knives. We literally had like a metric crap ton of knives on us just because like people in New Orleans carry knives because it's like it gets sketched down there sometimes. You just got to be prepared, Rarely had to use it, but you just want to be prepared. So like we had all our knives, and the guy literally just pulls his gun out and just points it at my friend's face, and it's just like, get out of the car. I've been a cop for 32 years and I've been stabbed twice.
Oh, boy.
Which, I mean, I will admit, I was kind of thinking like, why are you a cop if like, don't you kind of expect to get stabbed at least a couple times in your 30-year career? If honestly, if you haven't been shot, you should be grateful. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm out of line saying that, but I just feel like, why would you take a dangerous job if you're scared of getting stabbed? To that degree, where you're going to pull a gun on a guy just for having it on his hip in a sheath. Like, so yeah, he makes us all get out of the car, decides to search the car, makes us gather. He says, y'all got any more knives? And so, yeah, we had like 27 knives on us, because we each had like 5 or so more than that, obviously, because there were 4 of us. But anyways, we literally 27 knives. So we have like this pile of knives on the dashboard. And the guy I was actually moved out there with was technically an ex-felon because he had been dressed in drag in Arizona, and a guy called him the F word that's not nice for gay people. And he was fire breathing in drag, and he just breathed a fireball on this guy and kind of set him on fire, which is not okay. And you should not have done that. But it was kind of like, I mean, the guy was being a bigot, I mean, that was too far. You should not have taken it that far. But anyways, it wasn't like he went to prison for like something really horrific or scary. It was just like stupid, impulsive crap. But still, like, literally, guy's an ex-convict. He has like scars on his face tattoos, blue hair, a mohawk, and he sets him right next to the pile of knives. Just like, here, buddy, you stay right there while I search this vehicle. And he sets our friend with the knife on his hip in the front of his cop car with all of his, fully loaded semi-automatic weapons and stuff. So, like, I just was really questioning, like, what is even going on here? Like, what? It's a good thing we're not actually criminals, Like, this would be really easy, but, like, we're not. So you're in luck, Mr. Officer, But he ends up, like, pulling my bag out of the back of the car and going through it. And I had this rock for, spiritual purposes all wrapped up in a thing. And I think he was thinking he found like a crack rock or something, because he's just like looking at me like, what is this? Like, like as he's unraveling it. And then it like thuds to the, roof of the car, or the car truck thingy. And it's just like a freaking desert rock, dude. It's like literally just a rock. Like it's like orangey desert rock, And he just looks at me. He's like, you as bad as my wife. Like, I'm just like, And it's so funny because like at the time I was like panicking because I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know what I'm gonna tell this guy as to why I just have this rock, because I don't want to tell him I'm a witch because he's gonna probably try to like get me, literally burned. And so like I was like, I don't know why. He's like, as soon as he was gone, I was like, oh, pet rock, duh. Like, why didn't I just say that? Because he's like, why do you have this? I was like, it's a rock wrapped in my bag. It's cool. Don't ask questions. It's just a rock.
The cop tried to get your consent at all? I'm all about the Fourth Amendment rights and everything. People get cops. When they start demanding things, I tell them to. Well, I'm never in any situations anyway, but I watch a lot of videos about it, and it's like the first thing is, the cop actually ask you if you could actually search the vehicle? Or did he just demand it? I'm just kind of curious.
No, he demanded it. He absolutely demanded it. He took our keys. He ended up driving off with them and leaving us in the hot sun with no air conditioning. We had to call like 4 different police departments just to get him to come back with them.
Oh,
like, no, he had a gun at us. We were just like, sure, officer, please don't shoot us. We are in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. Like, you could hide our bodies and nobody would ever know, So, but no, he didn't ask. He was just like, get out. I'm searching the vehicle. And he didn't find anything, literally nothing.
Oh. So,
he had nothing on us. Didn't even write us a ticket or anything.
It's a legal term. It's mostly it's called fruit of the poisonous tree. And what that means is they're looking for, they find something small or they make something up just to see, because they figure you're guilty of something and they'll find it. And then they didn't find anything. So
yeah, we didn't have anything on us, like nothing. Like, we made sure of that when we left. We were like, we were riding, because I used to smoke a good bit, cannabis or whatever, which I don't even feel like it's a big deal. And after living in Oregon and it being treated as medicine, but we didn't even have any of that, even paraphernalia or anything on us. We were careful. We were like, we are not taking anything. Like, yeah, there was nothing that, you could do.
Oh, luckily, I guess everything worked out. I mean, at least nothing happened bad, I guess. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah, no, nobody got shot. Nobody got stabbed. The crazy felon guy maintained his cool. And the worst part, I think, was him driving off with the keys and having to wait there for an hour in the sun for him to come back with them.
Did he even apologize? Or did he say? What?
No, it was all ego.
Oh,
it was all, we're lucky.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So what is this about? You were in the female lead in a B horror movie?
Yeah, I was. And my God, I wish. Okay, so I did play the female lead in a B movie that got like 99% finished. Unfortunately, that like so we were having some issues filming the very like last scene of the movie. So like just with everybody's schedules conflicting, because almost everybody who was in this movie was supposed to be in this one scene. So it was just really hard to like get everyone off on the same day and get the studio to accept that day, and just, so like things got a little bit postponed, and then I went into the mental hospital right as that was like wrapping up. So we never finished the last scene. I think the director ended up kind of having a mental breakdown eventually. So, but anyways, while I was doing that though, it was an amazing experience. I was working at this little like boutique, vintage clothing resale store in the French Quarter in New Orleans. And this lady comes in one day looking for like costumes for this movie or something. And she's like talking to me about this movie that her and her friends are doing. It's like, cause she's one of my like recurring customers. And she's like, yeah, it's really cool. It's going to be a horror movie. And I was like, ooh, well, can I get on special effects? Like I can do some like, latex, like blood and gore stuff. And she was like, she looks me up and down. She goes, actually, do you act? And I was like, well, yeah, actually, I did theater and stuff in high school a little bit and as a kid, and was in some plays and musicals, and I like acting. And she was like, okay, well, you're like the perfect size and age for this role that we are dying to fill, because it's the last role we have to fill, and it's one of the major roles. So she's like, here, I'm going to give the director your number and tell him to come by here, because he's going to be by here in a little while anyways. So, I'm just going to have him come in and talk to you. So he did. And it's so funny. I remember this guy coming in like, it's really funny how people are like want to present themselves at first in a certain way, and then like you get to know, and you're just like, like that was cute. That was you, but that was cute. But like he comes in with these sunglasses on, right? Doesn't take them off inside. And he's like got his like hair all like styled, and he's got kind of like a suit jacket on, he's like a director, and I'm like, okay. And so he comes over to me and starts talking to me. He's like, and like he's like very like short with me at first, and just kind of like, okay, all right, yep. Okay, well, look, we're gonna have an audition. Here's the script. Just learn it, as well as you can, and I'll see you in a couple days or whatever. So I was like, okay, sweet, cool. And so I go and meet him, and like keep in mind, I've still not seen this man without his sunglasses. Like I go and meet him at some cafe in the French Quarter, and he has me do like a screen test and just read the script because I hadn't even had time to learn. I was like apprenticing and working 2 jobs at the time. So like, I don't know why I thought I could be in a movie, but I did. And I quit one of those jobs because it was bad anyways. But anyways, so like, he's all like, after I read the script, I just read it. I have it somewhere still, but I just read it. And he was like, he like takes off his sunglasses and looks at me and he's like, you just read that script with more emotion than anyone else I have auditioned with. He's like, I have auditioned with like really, you know, they're not like super acclaimed actresses, but semi-acclaimed actresses from LA to people here to all over. And like, none of them nailed that the way you did. And I was just like, cool. Yay. So I got the part, you know, like I get to be the part. And it was actually really funny because me and the character were basically the same person. Like she had just moved to New Orleans from Mississippi of all places, and like had grown up small town, and she was like working at a strip club. And he was, and then it's such a cute movie. I don't know if I want to tell y'all too much about it because I don't want to give the idea away because I still want to take this over and get it Netflix on it because we need to just film that last scene. If I can just get the footage, because it was great. It was really like the cast was awesome.
So wait a minute. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. So you're saying it's not going to be released until they do this final scene? Is that what you're saying? Okay. And where is there? Can you talk about? Like, can you say the title of the movie or anything? I'm just curious.
Well, see, that's the funny thing. They'd actually, I mean, I think we usually called it French Quarter Cannibal or Gorgor Gourmet. So those would be the titles I would look for in the future on things like Netflix, Shudder, stuff like that. Because like I said, I have plans to get this finished. I love the script. It is so funny. I mean, I think it has serious potential to be a cult classic. And I'm not saying that because I'm in it. I'm saying that because like the script is great. Like it's hilarious, but it's also gory and it's like campy, but just in the right way. And I don't know, I love it and I want it to be finished because it was such a work of labor and love from so many people in the quarter at that time that like most of those people aren't even around New Orleans anymore. And that's the thing is it was supposed to be a movie about the French Quarter workers, about all the freaks and the weirdos. And like it has so many interesting characters throughout it because like there were so many interesting characters there then. And I mean, there's still a lot, but like I would say New Orleans has definitely changed over the past like 6 to 8 years.
Did you get paid? Did you?
Oh yeah, no, actually, I got paid really well. Actually, they paid me great. They gave me a lot of respect. They would let me. It was actually really cool. I had signed up, you know, with the contract saying I was cool with partial nudity and stuff because I mean I was playing a stripper, and I am like I think the human body is art. I am cool with it in those, you know, contexts and stuff. And I remember just coming to him the day that we were supposed to shoot that scene where I'm like on stage doing my stripper thing. And I was just like, hey, so like, I just have mixed feelings about this being my first like role and like taking my top off. And like, do you care if I don't? And he's like, dude, you have fleshed this character out so much more than I could have ever imagined her being. You do whatever you feel natural doing. I was like, oh, thanks. So like, I will say that the confidence from that and knowing that it was my decision, I did. And I think it was great. It was a beautiful scene. I was really stoked. I never even got to see all of it. I got pieces of it. So like I haven't even seen like, I mean, the parts I've seen were great, but like the parts that I haven't seen, I'm like, I really want to see them too.
And at this point, there's no evidence, any indication it's ever going to be released. Then is what you're saying. So
right now, it is not currently in like the process of being released, but all I have to do is get a hard drive big enough to go to the director. I'm still friends with the director. I know him. He still has all the footage. So all I have to do is go get it and then find a way to, and he said he's cool to rewrites. I mean, we would definitely be ending it differently. It would definitely take place like a few years later kind of thing. We'd have to work that in. Luckily, I don't look that different from when I was 21. So he lucked out there. Although I do have a lot more tattoos. Although actually that's kind of one of the funny things in the movie though. He told me in the beginning, he's like, don't get any more tattoos until we're finished filming this. And like, you know, a year or so went by and I'm like, a few months went by and I was like, sorry, dude, I'm working at a tattoo shop. I'm getting tattoos. And so like some of my tattoos come and go throughout the movie. So like it would be pretty funny to like just do it now and be like, oh yeah, by the way, Birdie has like all the freaking tattoos and stuff, you know.
I wonder how many people would notice. I mean, would they that noticeable that they would notice that there's a tattoo there but not in another scene? I mean, some people, I mean people that were really looking would probably notice, but I would venture to guess. I mean, I would probably, if I was younger, I used to look at that stuff. As I've gotten older, I've kind of dismissed that as just like, well, it's not a big deal because, you know,
Right.
continuity issues are not a big deal when you have a movie. So, but as a kid, I'd probably, oh, look, they messed that up. They didn't get that right.
Right. I still do that with movies, but like the fact that it's like kind of a cheesy, campy movie anyways, I think it kind of adds to it in a way. It's kind of like, yeah, we didn't even take ourselves too seriously filming this, but we really loved filming it and had a lot of fun filming it. you know, even though like I think it is a good, yeah, I think it could be one of those funny things about some movies where you're just like, oh yeah, you know how like that one character's like thing kind of just changes throughout the film. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think it worked as far as I'm concerned because it's not super noticeable, I don't think. If you have tattoos, you probably notice, especially if you have a lot. You're like, wait, didn't she have like a thing there in that other scene and now she doesn't? Like, wait, what? You know, like there would probably be some of that. But honestly, I kind of find that stuff funny. So like, I'd hope that nobody would be aggravated by it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's fiction, you know.
Yeah, I gotta say, the entire time you've been talking, you have a picture behind you, and it actually merges well with your head. By the way, so
Cool.
the
Oh yeah, no, I love my cats, my witch cats.
yeah, I was going to ask you, what is that exact? What is that we're looking at there?
I think it's a Killstar print, if I'm not mistaken. It's just like it's a like uh tapestry thing. So it's just like some cats in a circle, and then it's got moons on either side and a star.
Okay. No, the avatar for the video, if like people are clicking on it for the first time right now, they're seeing that, and it looks like your head is, well, it is. It's in the center of something that's really interesting looking. So it's really eye capturing, right? It really does grab someone's attention. So I wanted to mention that earlier, but I kept on forgetting to do that. So.
Well, that's awesome. I love this one. I originally just got it to hang in my bedroom because I like these kind of stuff to just look at, you know. But no, actually, I debated that. So I'm really glad you said that because I thought about I have these like giant spray paint. I used to do some mural art in New Orleans as well. So I spray paint and stuff as well. So like I have these giant canvases I did this past, not this summer, but the one before it, 2020. And I consider putting them behind me because they are enormous. And they are actually what I painted with my own hands. So I debated that, but I think, yeah, this one, it does add a really nice backdrop centerpiece. Like it's a very balanced.
So talking about painting, what else have you painted? Is there anything you could show us? I'm just kind of curious. Do you have anything?
You know, I told myself not to do this when I sat down here, but I knew I was going to do it. I'm going to go grab them off the wall because they're not really that secure. So I'm just going to show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay. 2 seconds.
Okay. So we're waiting for Lórien she's going to show us some of the paintings that she's done. And some of the people in the comments, thanks for leaving them. Oh, here we go.
I mean, they are massive. Here, I'll try to like pick them up at the same time. All right, I'm just going to show them individually, I think. So they go together.
Okay.
So this was spray paint for like the first layer, and then I go over it with paint pens.
Okay.
So that's one side, and she's an angel.
Well, say it again. What we spray painted. What was the other thing you said you do it with? What on the other?
Paint pens, like acrylic paint pens.
Oh, paint pens.
Just
Okay,
like,
gotcha.
And then like draw on them. And actually, these do glow in black light. I wish I had my black light out here, but I don't. So this is the double girl.
Oh, that's pretty cool. The
the light is like super glary.
That's fine. Is that the same way, like spray painted and like the?
Mm-hmm. I actually did this piece. I stuck these two canvases together. Aside from when I did the backgrounds, I did do an orange background here and a blue background here separately. But then I just did it like one big piece and just taped them together in the back. Oh, that's the wrong. I was like, why is this not lining up? Because that's not the right. But here you go.
Oh, there you go. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now
in the center, they make an unaloon, which is a. I'm gonna say it's a Hindu symbol. I could be wrong. I know it's an occult sigil that symbolizes. All right, you can see that. I can tilt this down.
Okay, that does make it does make a little more artistic sense to have them like in that positions in that way.
Sorry, my light is like not. There we go.
That's pretty good. Better. How long did it take you to do those?
12 hours.
Oh, really? Wow.
It was like a whole day event that I went and did.
And were there any happy mistakes or happy little mysteries like Bob Ross
said? All over the place. For one thing, the yellow spray paint can just decided to start spitting paint instead of spraying it at one point. So there are actually, you can see little yellow flecks like all in here.
Uh-huh.
But you know, that's okay. That's okay because then I decided, you know what? I'm going to use yellow in the rest of her too. And so now she has like this really pretty yellow third eye thing going on, and even her eyeball.
Oh.
And then, of course, the golden halo. And then I added these symbols later as well. So no, like it all worked out.
So as far as your art is this do you do it just for yourself? Do you sell the art? What do you do with your art?
Well, so this one specifically is actually a funny story behind it, and I really honestly do need to see about selling it. What's funny is I need to finish it. I know it looks finished, but it's actually okay. So like I said, it glows in black light. Funny thing is, I didn't realize I'd been using the black light reactive pins when I was first painting it. So it had black light in some places, but not others. So I had to go in and balance it out. And the only thing I forgot to do was put the black light pin in her horns and her halo, and I need to just do that. I just haven't because they've been on my wall. But no, those will be for sale. And the cool thing is when I do sell those, a good portion of it is going to this Artist for NOLA Musicians Relief Fund. So like a lot of musicians in New Orleans, when the pandemic hit, were like totally out of work. And so, because a lot of them perform on Bourbon Street or in bars or just, venues in general and do live shows. So this lady I know ended up organizing all these people to come together to make art to sell so that the musicians can afford to pay rent and eat. So eventually I will sell that and give a good portion of it to that fund.
That's very nice.
That's the plan.
Okay. All right. Well, would you like to, I would like to go back if you'd like to as well. Go back to our question from the beginning of the show so we can see what kind of results we have.
Oh yes, dinosaurs. Dinosaur time.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring this. Looks like a pretty good response. So we posted this about a little more than an hour ago, I think. We got 153 votes so far. 73% in the lead with T-Rex. Triceratops with 12%. Then Velociraptor at 8%. And Stegosaurus. I can't say it.
Stegosaurus, I like that.
At 4%. Duckbill at 3%. Interesting. So
cool.
Let's look at a couple of responses. Let me bring these up here. Brontosaurus is my favorite dinosaur. He is big and strong. And the other person just saying he's first. So congratulations for being first. You
get a trophy and a cookie.
So normally what will happen is over the next week we'll get like usually anywhere between 2,000 and 6,000 votes, and then if we do a show next week at the same time, we can get a better idea as to what the results are. Usually, cool. I can tell you that when it's at 73%, something that's high, it usually stays the same. But once in a while, we get something that's like there's a little switcheroo, and like something else will just like go and overpower it, and it'll be something else that gets it. So usually the percentage usually stays the same. That's not always the case, but it does often stay the same. So I wouldn't expect to be. I would expect that T-Rex is probably one of the most popular dinosaurs out there. For me, I don't like to say T-Rex. I like to actually say Tyrannosaurus Rex. That's just
Tyrannosaurus. So, yeah, we can put that next time. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. So,
but yeah,
I think T-Rex. The term T-Rex was made popular by the movie Jurassic Park. I know there was a band called the T-Rexes back in the '60s, but I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure it was the movie itself that actually popularized that term. Before that, I think no one really said it on a regular basis. So, but
that makes sense.
So how do you feel about those results? What do you think of that?
I'm not surprised. T-Rex is always, I mean, dude, he's like the king of the dinosaurs. Like I said, he's Godzilla's cousin. So like, I get it. But also, Velociraptors rule. So I would make my Velociraptor noise, but y'all's ears would hurt.
You can try it if you like.
See if I can do it. I used to do this on the school bus all the time just to freak people out.
Here's my applause.
I tried. I used to do that better. It's been a long time.
I'll give you my cat impression. Wow. There we go.
It's a good one. I like your cat impression.
So I can usually fool people thinking it's a real cat on a regular basis.
No, it totally sounds like a real cat. Like I know cats, and that sounds like a cat, like a real cat.
Let's see. For this one, it's we'll just come back to this next time, and we'll go through it again. So anyway, let me go and bring this back down. My mouse. Where's my mouse? Sorry, my mouse seems to have disappeared off the screen.
It's running away.
There we go. So, All right. So how did you have anything else you'd like to add? We can go ahead and wrap everything up here. Did you have anything else you want to add to the audience?
Thank you for watching, and like hope to see you again. Because like, yeah, I mean, I think I've covered like a good portion of stuff. I mean, I do have lots more stories, lots more, you know, art to show you guys if you want to see it and stuff. But like, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that like we get to do more of this and talk about more things, and just continue spreading messages of like acceptance and happiness and fulfillment. You know,
It's a very positive message. I agree with that. That last part you said 100% there. So yeah, and yeah, I'd love to have you back on, and we can talk to ask more questions and participate with the audience. All right. Well, thanks everyone, and that was Lórien, and we'll see you next time.